And the King has said he is ready to support the police as they assess his brother Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's links with paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. And the US Congress are urging Andrew himself to come forward and talk to them.
They ought to ask the King and Queen questions, and maybe this will be the end of the monarchy.
What do you think it could be the end of the monarchy?
Well, if they don't have answers, or if they're implicated with an Epstein class, not a good look for the British monarchy. Well, the King has to answer what he knew about Andrew. And just stripping Andrew of a title is not enough.
So should the King do more? Is the monarchy in danger, Janet? How do you feel it's all beginning to sit?
Well, don't you think that's rich, coming from a country with a president who's been named consistently in all these papers, whose relationship with Epstein is, you know, a matter of public record, and whose remarks about women in the past have been dubious, to say the least. But setting aside President Trump's shortcomings, I think King Charles now has a big problem, which is to close down all the friends and associates of Sarah Ferguson and Andrew. He needs to stop them blabbing every day about Andrew's at his wit's end, can't cope, to paint this do-me scenario, and Sarah's homeless, doesn't know which way to turn. He needs to find a way to shut all of that down. And already we've seen some pictures in the newspapers over the last few days of Andrew walking in the grounds of Wood Farm, which is where he's staying now. So Charles's main problem is to close it down as quickly as possible. But he has another problem, which is dealing with the fact that he was part of the monarchy that allowed Andrew, when he was Prince Andrew, to become a trade ambassador for this country, to travel the world representing Britain when he had no qualifications whatsoever for that job other than having the title Prince. Now, being a trade envoy means that you travel the world with some of Britain's top businesses. You are privy to all our industrial and financial secrets. You're trying to raise the profile of Britain and bring money into this country. So he had access in that job to a lot of information, and people who carry those roles are usually interviewed thoroughly and rigorously. So now I want to know, you know, some of that must rub off on Charles, but it's not the end of the monarchy. No, it's not the end of the monarchy. But there are more questions about the role when, as trade envoy, he simply passed all that information on to Epstein.
Well, this is the Thames Valley Police confirmed it is assessing claims that Andrew passed confidential information to Epstein during his time as this trade envoy. I mean, it's just every single day there just seems to be more and more, and you have to wonder how much they know is still to come. Where do you sit with it now? Is it just really uncomfortable for the royal family?
I don't think it's the end of the monarchy. I think he's made the right choice by speaking up. I think, you know, King Charles needed to acknowledge it. Kate and William acknowledged it much earlier on, didn't they? And almost distanced themselves away from it at that point, and how against it they all are. I mean, you're saying, you know, he needs to be stopped and he needs to be shut down. I'm not sure. I think if he was shut down, people would then say, oh, they're trying to hide him away. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We're trying to shut him down so he doesn't make it worse, when in actual fact they should be saying no, which is what Charles is saying. King Charles is saying that, you know, he is going to, you know, give answers to the police of whatever he can and can't do. I just worry about the whole thing. You know, these people have got away with, I mean, just obscene years of obscenity, really, and abuse, because they're rich and they're powerful. And I think these same people, I mean, we're going on about, you know, Andrew, but at the same time, America's got a president that is still going out every day and bleating on about things like he's done nothing wrong. And I just think when they've got that much money and power, it worries me that they can make it go away. because everybody has a price. And I think when you've got that much money and that much power, you can almost shut anything down. And that's what worries me. And the other thing that worries me is it's so much everywhere at the moment, as it should be. But because now I live in a life of mistrusting anyone in power right now, I'm also thinking, are they making the whole world really focus on this?
They're hiding something else.
So because something else is going on that they don't want us to know about. And I just don't trust any of them.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, right, to be in their position, because I think I'm a sister as well. If Mutsi was doing other things and then people are expecting me to answer for that, I would think that would be really, really difficult. I think for the king, that is really tough, a tough position to be in. I don't think it's the end. Even in the video, when they were questioning him, you can see the audience are like shushing that person. But I do, in a way, feel like addressing it will help people also connect and understand what they understood and what they didn't. For me, I thought it felt fresh that actually William and Kate were speaking about it, and they've distanced themselves about it. And it feels like they are, in a way, preparing themselves to be like, okay, fine, that's the old era of how we used to do things. We're the new, we're the fresh, we're the young. We talk against our family. We know the difference between right and wrong. And you kind of look for that when you're looking for someone to be a monarch and a king.
Yeah. And then, of course, as we know, Andrew has consistently and strenuously denied any kind of wrongdoing, which is what the royal family are kind of having to work along the parameters of, certainly at this point as well.
Or nevertheless, he paid a huge multi-million-pound settlement to Virginia Giuffre.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whilst admitting nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's, a very, very unfortunate state of affairs. And, it's just, and as we keep talking about the victims and the survivors, and really genuinely, gosh, where do you start, as you say? It just gets worse.